Welcome to Chalk Talk, a weekly preview of West Tennessee football featuring the Jackson Sun sports team on JacksonSun.com.
Hi everybody, welcome to JacksonSun.com and the high school edition of Chalk Talk. My name is Craig Thomas along with Braden Shields. If you've seen the midweek crunch video yet, and if you haven't you should, but if you've seen it yet, we've talked a lot about how big of a week this is, week 7 of the high school football season here in Tennessee on the western end of the state. There's just a lot of really good games, and we're fortunate enough to get to sort of analyze that, follow that, and keep up with it this week. We're going to talk about 4 here specifically that involve teams that are either undefeated or have one loss.
Right.
All of those teams, and so that kind of gives you an indication of what we're talking about here when we talk about a big week.
We get to be kind of snobs this week.
Yeah, a little bit of elitist, but that's all right once in a while. Right here in the city, South Side at 5-1 after their loss against Dyersburg takes on a pretty hot South Gibson team that's undefeated. What are the keys to this game?
Well, we were so close to an undefeated matchup in this one before Southside tripped up against Dyersburg last week. But the key to this one is just kind of how well will Southside stop South Gibson's athletes. You know, Southside may have a little bit of a speed advantage as a whole, you know, across the board. But South Gibson's got some pretty productive athletes when they get the ball in their hands. Austin Duncan at quarterback, he's usually good for a few yards when he gets the ball or when he decides to keep it. Tyler Dysart is good, whether he's running the ball out of the backfield or if he's returning the ball on a kick or a punt. Dre McAllister, at one time this year, he was averaging 35 yards a carry. Give the ball to him on first down with that kind of production, that's pretty good production. And there's a couple other guys that are kind of in the rotation there. And Southside's got to watch all these guys and make sure that they keep whichever one gets the ball from getting those big gains. One, to get the offense off the field and get Southside back out there, put the ball in Cade Willingham's hands. But also, I mean, just keep them scoring. And you know, this is a big game for both teams because the schedule gets a whole lot harder for both of them after this week. So they both probably need that win to kind of go into this tough stretch with a victory and with a little bit of momentum. South Gibson coming off a bye week. It could help, it could hurt. In the past, we've done stories about how much bye weeks help, and essentially teams coming off a bye week have a little better than a 500 winning percentage. So you can't really say they have an advantage because of it, other than the fact that Scott Stidham and his coaching staff were sitting in the stands watching Southside last week. Yeah, it should be a good game, and Southside's defense needs to step up, be ready to step up in this one.
All right, at Trenton this week when the Peabody Golden Tide was Dresden, you look at all the offensive playmakers. I mean, there's plenty on both sides, especially on offense. It's tempting to expect a shootout. Do you expect a shootout in this game? I
think so. I mean, there's too many playmakers for there not to be a shootout unless all the playmakers on defense do their job and keep the offensive guys from scoring a lot. But which that's probably a Captain Obvious statement right there.
Yeah, but still, I mean, it looks like a high-scoring game.
Yeah, it looks like it should be. I mean, we could go over the laundry list of key players on both sides of the ball: Dresser Wynn, Quincy McDonald, Dylan Yates for Dresden, Jacob Taylor, Brandon Johnson, Kevon Goodwin, Kendrick Malone, Hayden Bogus for Peabody. But I mean, this game will be determined by just kind of which team handles their business kind of in the trenches, because those backs can't do anything if the line in front of them isn't doing their job. I think last week on the radio we had Coach Mickey Marley at USJ, and we were asking him about his offensive line, how well it was playing. And, you know, we had been previously talking about how well their back's been playing. He's like, well, if you don't have that line up there, you don't want to be a back in that backfield because you're going to get hit a lot. So, yeah, they've got to do Trenton and Dresden, both lines have to do their jobs well and keep the defense at bay. And then essentially when the ball gets in the air, those defenses got to be ready to either bring the guy down right when he catches it so he doesn't get a lot of yards after the catch, or get to the ball before he does and knock it down or catch it themselves.
Yeah, South Gibson, an undefeated team going on the road. Dresden, an undefeated team going on the road. Got another one in Hardin County, which is going on the road to Haywood.
That's pretty long. That's easily the longest trip of the 3. And You know, a lot of the talk for Hardin County has been about its offense. You know, obviously Cal Goblin quarterback and all the yards he's gotten, and Nick Godwin and Tyree and Latrell Bumpus and all these guys are producing a lot of yardage. Haywood, on the other hand, is keeping teams from getting a lot of yards and getting a lot of points. In fact, I was writing a story about it earlier today. Haywood is allowing 10.4 points per game. Considering the fact that Hardin County is scoring 33 points a game, that matchup is going to be a really fun one to watch. And we were talking in the midweek crunch video earlier just about how you don't want to run your quarterback too often against this Haywood defense, because you're going to run the risk of him getting injured. So, but you got to move the ball on him somehow. You got to keep him honest. You don't want to pack the box, but you also don't want to spread them out. You got to keep them guessing. And luckily, they have options to do that with Cal's ability at running and throwing.
2 undefeateds meet up in Carroll County. Huntington hosts Houston County.
Yeah, Houston County is honestly for me kind of an unknown, just because you know they're nowhere near our coverage area. They just happen to be in the same region with Huntington. But Huntington has a better list of teams it's beaten so far. And not only are they beating teams like Milan and Camden and McKenzie, it's not even close. I mean, the clock was running on Milan, and it was close to it on the other two. And I think I got pretty bold with kind of a prediction for this game, saying Huntington will probably win and it probably won't be close. I mean, I could be wrong on that, but I don't think I'm going to be that wrong, because I mean Huntington is playing good ball even for Huntington standards. Yeah. And when Huntington's playing good ball, there's not many programs, particularly at the 1A level, that's going to touch them.
That's right. Well, those games got all those to keep in mind, but also I mean we got Crockett County at Northside, and we've got Westfield Liberty. You mentioned Trinity going to McKenzie.
Dyer County's at Chester County. Dyersburg
plays Milan. I mean, there's a lot of big games that we didn't even really touch on it. But if you want to hear more about those, the Midweek Crunch Show, it's right here on JSUN.com. Go check that out. Really easy to find on the sports page. Outside of that, make sure to follow us throughout the week. Brandon will have some features, some analysis, that kind of story from high school football throughout the week. Especially that Thursday night going into Friday morning, there's always a lot there. Then Friday morning, the Blitz with preview capsules for every team in the Jackson Suns coverage area for the game it's playing. And then the stats package with all the leading passers, rushers, receivers, tacklers, kickers, just about everything. You can get a sense of who some of the top individual players have been at this point in West Tennessee. And then, of course, Friday night right here on JacksonSun.com. I mean, this is your place to go to see, what happened not only at the game you were at, but all the games that you haven't heard about yet. Maybe just get a score. Well, you can go on JacksonSun.com and find not just a score, but a full recap of everything. You can find out, see who made the big plays. We got some awesome photos that are always up there every week, videos, all that kind of stuff. It's a great spot to go Friday night. And then Saturday morning, head there as well. And then, of course, in your newspaper, in the Jackson Sun, 5 full pages pretty much dedicated to high school football. So it's a lot of good stuff. So we thank you for checking out all that and for watching this video. Have a great week.
See ya.